Let's discuss today few questions and answers that are given in the workbook of Act 3, Scene 2. First passage is based on the dialogue of Portia. Portia, and yet a maiden hath no tongue, but thought, I would detain you here some month or two before you venture for me. I could teach you how to choose right, but then I'm forsworn. So will I never be? So may you miss me, but if you do, you will make me wish to sin, that I had been forsworn. Be sure your eyes. They have overlooked me and divided me. One half of me is yours, and the other half yours. This is a passage. Where does the scene take place? You know this scene takes place in Belmont in Portia's house because Bassanio had come there for the selection of caskets. So it is very evident that the scene takes place in Belmont, Portia's house. What is meant by the first line of the extract? What is the first line? And it maiden hath no tongue but thought. So this first line tells us about the maidenly modesty of Portia. That just like a maiden, uh, she has no other choice left except to think, that she cannot express what she thinks. She cannot express what she thinks right now, just like a maiden who can do nothing except to think. That is the meaning of the first line. Maidenly modesty, just like a maiden, she can't express what she thinks, but she only can think. What reason does Portia give at the end of the speech for speaking too long? So the last lines of page number 88 of the textbook answer is there. To egg it, draw it out in length, to stay you from election. These two lines can be written as part of the answer. The meaning is that to extend the time or waste time from Bassanio to choose the casket. That is a real reason. She wanted to waste time so that Bassanio may get some more time to choose the casket instead of going directly and immediately choosing the casket. What does this show about her feelings towards Bassanio? So this shows that she really loves Bassanio and she does not want to lose him. This is what it shows. She really loves, that is why she tells, wait for a day or two and don't go for the selection of casket immediately so that she can have time to direct him. So this shows that she really loves Bassanio and doesn't want to lose him. Why can't Portia teach Bassanio to choose the correct casket? Why can't Portia help Bassanio to choose the correct casket? What is the reason? Because she had promised her father earlier never to reveal the secret of the caskets to anyone. So because of this oath, she cannot help anyone to choose the correct casket. If Bassanio were to make an incorrect choice, what would Bassanio do? So if Bassanio were to make a incorrect choice, what would Portia do should be the question. So what would she do? She would not even mind to break her oath to her father. She would not even mind to break the oath that she had with her father. That means she may not choose the one who chooses the right casket. She can even, since she loves Bassanio, she can even marry him. Give the meaning of Bishru your eyes. They have overlooked me and divided me. So the meaning is, may your eyes be confounded. They have cast a spell on me and divided me. So eyes should be confounded because they have cast a spell upon me and Bassanio, so they are divided. Here she means to say that Portia's eyes says that Bassanio's eyes have a cast have cast a spell on her and divided her from, for she no longer seems to be herself. Meaning is that she is under stress when Bassanio goes for the selection of the casket, because she really wants that Bassanio should choose the right casket and win Portia. That is why. What light does the extract show of the character of Portia? What feelings does she have for Bassanio in the scene? So, what are the characteristics of Portia in the scene? Portia is presented in the scene as a lover. Portia loves Bassanio and she expresses that she doesn't want to lose. That is why she requests Bassanio or makes efforts to detain Bassanio from the selection of casket. So, example, she asks him to wait for a day or two or a month or two in order to choose the correct casket and go for the selection. Here, one more character we get to see is that Portia remains a dutiful daughter. That is why she doesn't want to reveal the secret of the casket even to Bassanio. So, as a lover and as a dutiful daughter, two characteristics we can see in this passage. She is a dutiful daughter, obedient to her father. That is why she did not reveal. She followed the promise that she had given to her father, even when Bassanio came for the selection of casket. So that shows her dutifulness towards as a daughter, a dutiful daughter. Next passage, again from the Portia's dialogue. Let music sound while he doth make his choice. Then, if he lose, he makes a swan-like end, fading in music, that the comparison may stand more proper. My eye shall be the stream, and watery deadbird for him. He may win, and what is the music then? Then the music is even as the flourish when true subjects bow to a new monarch, new crowned monarch. Such it is, as are those dulcet sounds in break of day that creep into the dreaming bridegroom's ear and summon him to marriage. This passage expresses what she will feel if Bassanio chooses the wrong casket and right casket. Explain the meaning of he makes a swan-like end. What contemporary belief about the swan is expressed in this extract? The phrase swan-like end relates to Elizabethan belief that swan sings only once before it dies. That is the contemporary belief related to. Which means if Bassanio were to die, which the word to die refers to lose the love of Portia by choosing the wrong casket as far as Bassanio is concerned, then it will be accompanied by this wrong choice of the casket by Bassanio will be accompanied by the fading music, like the swan that sings before it dies. That is the meaning of swan-like end. If Bassanio chooses the wrong casket, music will be so fading like the swan that sings before it dies. Contemporary belief is that Elizabethans believed that the swan sings only once before it dies. That is given in your textbook at page number 89. How could Portia's eyes be a watery deadbed for Bassanio? Portia calls for music actually, or plays the music actually to calm the excitement and of her heart and the tension she has in the mind while Bassanio goes for the selection of the casket. So here the question is, how could Portia's eye be a watery deadbed for Bassanio? If Bassanio fails to choose the correct casket, then the music will be so fading. So it will create a swan like end, which means Portia will be completely depressed. And this watery deadbed belongs to is used here because river is the grave for the dead swan. That is why. How would the music call the dreaming bridegroom in the marriage? If Bassanio chooses the right casket, the music will be just like the music that is being played in the bridegroom's window on his wedding morning, announcing that the wedding day has come. It refers to old English belief custom of playing music under the windows of the bridegroom on the morning of the wedding. So it gives a pleasant feeling to the bridegroom. Similarly, if Bassanio chooses the right casket, her heart will be happy. That happiness is being expressed by this comparison. In what way does Portia act as a romantic heroine in this scene? How is the theme love versus wealth developed in the scene? First part is, in what way Portia act as a romantic heroine. Here Portia in the scene act as a romantic heroine because of her maidenly modesty and bright wit, where she detains Bassanio from the selection of the casket and asks him to wait for a day or two. And she also accomplishes her difficulty to reveal the secret of the caskets because she had an oath to her father. This shows her maidenly modesty and dutifulness. How is the theme of love versus wealth developed in this scene? When Bassanio chooses correctly, she is happy and surrenders herself, her wealth, and everything that she has to Bassanio, and even offers a ring and makes him promise that he will never part it. This is a comparison between wealth and love here. So, as soon as Bassanio chooses the right casket, she surrenders herself and all that that she has to Bassanio, and also gives the ring and make him promise. So in this way, we can say she acts as a romantic heroine. Now comes the next passage number 3. That is Portia's dialogue. Portia, with no less presence but with much more love he goes than young Alcides, when he did redeem the virgin tribute paid by howling Troy to the sea monster by sand for sacrifice, the rest aloof our Dardanian wives. With bleared visages come forth to view the issue of the exploit. Go, Hercules. Who is Alcides? That is given in the page number 89 of your textbook. It refers to Hercules, who rescued Hesione, an unmarried daughter of the Trojan king, from being sacrificed as a sea monster. So Alcides is referred to Hercules, son of Alcaeus. What is a virgin tribute? Virgin tribute refers to Hesione, an unmarried woman who had a daughter of Trojan king who was being sacrificed to a sea monster. How did Alcides say virgin tribute? By killing the sea monster, Alcides saved the virgin tribute. How, in what way Bassanio is compared to young Alcides? Here Bassanio is compared to Hercules by saying that Bassanio has much more dignity than Hercules had, because Bassanio goes with much more love than Hercules. Hercules did not save Hesione out of love but out of the reward. Here, Bassanio goes for the selection of castle just like Hercules out of love. That is the difference. Why does Portia here stand for sacrifice? Here, Hesione, who was offered to sacrifice, was sacrificed to a sea monster. But Portia here stands as a Hesione because if Bassanio chooses the wrong casket, she will fall into the clutches of the unworthy suitor. That is the reason. So here, Portia stands for sacrifice just like Hesione. If nobody had saved Hesione, then she would be killed by the sea monster. Similarly, here, if Bassanio does not choose the right casket, then she will have to choose unworthy suitor. Give the meaning. Howling Troy. Howling Troy means the loud lamentation of the people of the Troy at the sacrifice of Hesione. Bleared visages means tear-stained tear-stained faces. The issue of the exploit means outcome of the rescue operation. Outcome of the rescue operation. It refers to encounter that Hercules had with sea monster. What are the rust aloof referred to in the extract? In this extract, rust aloof is referred to people in the room, like Nerissa and the attendants. Who are the Dardanian wives? Dardanian wives are Trojan women of the Trojan, who had been standing there to witness the sacrifice of Hesione. What were the wives doing in the scene when Alcides was saving the virgin tribute? The Dardanian women stood there with tear-stained faces to witness and watch the result of the encounter between Hercules and the sea monster. Why does Portia say, "Go Hercules"? Here, "Go Hercules" is told by Portia because, in her opinion, the similarity between Bassanio and Hercules is complete and perfect. Similarity between Hercules and Bassanio is completely perfect. That is why she calls Bassanio "Go Hercules." What will she be doing at the same time? So, Portia tells when Bassanio go ahead to choose the casket, she will be watching the test with much more anxiety than Bassanio, who is actually going for the selection of the casket. Because she has fear and tension, thinking whether Bassanio will be able to choose the correct casket or not. Now, fourth passage. Bassanio. There is no vice so simple but assumes some mark of virtue on the outward parts. How many cowards whose hearts are all as false, as stairs of sand, wear yet upon their chins the beard of the Hercules and the frowning Mars, who, inward searched, have livers white as milk, and these assume but Velo's excrement to render them redoubted. This is a passage spoken by Bassanio from the dialogue of Bassanio. Bassanio. There is no vice so simple but assumes some mark of virtue on the outward parts. How many cowards whose hearts are all as false as tails of sand wear it upon their chins, the beards of Hercules and the frowning Mars, who inward searched have livers white as milk, and these assume but dwellers excrement to render them redoubted. Which theme in the play is highlighted in the above extract? So, what theme is being highlighted in the above extract? This is spoken when he was reading the inscription on the golden casket. So, here the theme presented is appearances and reality. The theme appearance and reality is being highlighted. How is it highlighted? Bassanio commenting on the casket says that whatever looks completely attractive from exterior may be rotten from inferior. So what looks attractive outside may not be good from interior. So always the multitude of people go for attractions. They select things based on external attraction. They do things based on the external attraction. Next question is, how can wise assume the external show of the virtue? According to Bassanio, every wrong has some appearance of virtue. He explains it through the example of a lawyer. In lawsuit, possession of pleasing voice and attractive presence in a lawyer entirely hide any appearance of wrong in the case he pleads. So the ornament of voice gives an unsound plea. The false appearance of the good reality is always hidden by the unsound plea. Similarly, religion also, even the most serious sins can be forbidden. Quoting examples from the Bible by the priest, it can be forgiven. These are the examples given with regard to external show of virtue. Next question is, what are stairs of sand? Stairs of sand refers to stairway made of shifting sand. Such a stairway is unreliable because it gives way beneath the footstep it should support, because this kind of stairway cannot support the footsteps. To what are these stairs compared? These stairs of sand are compared to cowards who try to grow a beard on their cheek, who try to cultivate beards in order to pretend themselves to be Hercules, but actually they are not as brave as Hercules. Give the meaning of the following. Have livers white as milk. Elizabethans looked down the liver as the seat of courage. So, brave man's liver is said to be red with blood. Cowards are spoken of having white livers. That is why, in order to compare cowardness or the fear of the cowards, liver is compared to white milk. What is Hercules and who is frowning Mars? Hercules was a great hero of Greek mythology. Mars was the Roman god of war. What are they with their beards known for? Hercules and Mars referred here because they, with their beards, stand for strength, manliness, and bravery. They stood for strength, manliness and bravery. That is why they are being compared here. We have discussed four passages until now. Now let us move on to the next passage, passage number 5. That is also that is a dialogue of Bassanio. Look out beauty, and you shall see 'tis purchased by the weight, which therein works a miracle in nature, making the lightest that wear most of it. So are those crisp, snaky golden locks, which make such wanton gambols with the wind, upon suppressed fairness, often known to be the dowry of the second head. The skull that bred them in the sepulchre, thus ornament is, but the guide shore to the most dangerous sea. Explain how beauty is purchased by weight. Bassanio says that if we take the case of beauty, we find an imitation of it easily obtainable because it can be brought from the market. The beauty items for the beautification are available in the market and it is easily bought. Give two meanings of the word lightest. Bassani uses the word lightest in order to refer, first of all, refer the light that is fair color. Secondly, he has used it to refer frivolousness or fickle mindedness. Fickle minded means we always change our words. What is referred to as the crisped, snaky golden locks? Crisped, snaky golden locks refers to false hair that women wear it on their head as an extension. Who wears them and who is their actual owner? Women wear the golden, crispy golden locks of hair, which are found to be playful with the wind, and the real owner is someone who is dead, lying in the grave, a dead woman. What is referred to as dowry of the second golden dowry of the second head? Dowry of the second head refers to false hair, which is being worn by the woman in order to appear more attractive. Who has bred this head? It actually belonged to a dead woman. Where is the head now? It is in the grave. The head is lying in the grave. Why does Bassanio say that ornament is but guile to shore to a most dangerous sea? So Bassanio meant to say that outward ornament is always deceptive. It can cheat. It is compared to attractive and treacherous seashore. Looking at the attraction of the seashore, people try to sink in the water, which can lead them to perilous waters, so that it can destroy their life. Just like that, outward appearances can be deceptive. Give any two examples from Bassanio's speech to show that appearances are deceptive. Bassanio always tells that appearances are deceptive. Two examples. First, the shining golden false hair that are being worn by the woman seems to be very attractive, but actually it does not belong to them. They look real, but belongs to a dead person. Second example for appearances are deceptive is the lovely scarf worn by the Indian woman which covers their ugly face. So here Shakespeare says Indian beauty looks very ugly, but their scarf cover their ugly look. So these are the two examples which are being shown which are being used in this scene to express appearances are deceptive. Rest of the passages and their question answers shall be discussed in the next class. You can copy these answers in your workbook based on the discussion. Thank you.